to PJ Media, let's see, Daily Caller. She has her own channel on YouTube, The House of Sunny, and you can see her videos on her website, houseofsunny.tv, right? Yes. .tv, houseofsunny.tv. Sunny Lohmann, come on up, come on up. Yes,
my job gets easier and easier every year with the stuff going on in the world. Thank you. I couldn't have moved that myself. Thank you. Normally I would be a little more extemporaneous, but I have a cold, so I apologize if I lose track of what I'm saying and zone out. Try not to. You can see that I'm pregnant too, and it's not my fault though. It never would have happened if you'd paid for my birth control last year. This year, but too late. And I'm not only eating for two, I'm speaking for two tonight. So pay attention. This is not a joke. My daughter is actually going to be, she's due on Independence Day. Yeah, July 4th. I think it's a sign. Maybe she'll save the world if we don't do it for her first. And by we, I mean you. And I mean that. You, the Tea Party, are the only hope that we have. Who else is going to do it? And you're getting a lot of advice on what to do, how to do it. We have to win elections. So how do we win elections? How do we get change? You get told to support and select electable candidates, like Mitt Romney. You know that guy Mitt, the Republican father of Obamacare who won the presidency in 2012? Oh, all right. Well, so is it establishment Republicans? Is it principles? Is it libertarianism? It's across the board. We get a lot of advice. So I want to offer you my opinion on what to do. First, support candidates who have a record of compromise. As Patrick Henry said, give me liberty or give me a 2.3% tax reduction. He said that. He said that, and they won the revolution on that. We should vote for more people like George W. Bush. He's a really nice guy. Mitt Romney is a nice guy. And I don't dispute that. And George Bush, he gave us the TSA, the Patriot Act, No Child Left Behind, which is the first step toward Common Core, really, Homeland Security Department, an expensive drug prescription entitlement, or his dad who gave us the Americans with Disabilities Act, tax hikes. So I'm so glad that in those years we nominated electable Republicans. That was really a good plan. Jeb. Yeah, now, the next Bush, Jeb, he looks like a front runner for president in 2016. It's early, but we can start talking about it. He may not be the kind of cowboy who advances on federal agents at Clive and Bundy's ranch, but he kind of looks and talks like a cowboy. He's the kind of cowboy who will drink tea on the veranda of the East Wing with the Democrats and paint in his old age. That's the kind of cowboy we need, right? No. Even the cowboys out at the Bundy Ranch know the value of compromise. They've said to the federal agents, retreat or retreat. You have an options. Those are good options. Okay. Second, use kindly language. You attract more bees with honey. That's if you like bees. Grizzly bears like honey too. But never mind, be nice. Like when George W. Bush required our troops in Iraq to win the hearts and minds of the Iraqis. And they're really doing a good job now running their country. I think they're voting on marrying off 9-year-olds. So I'm glad we didn't impose ourselves on them. – Good thing we were nice. Don't be an extremist for liberty. That's my next point. Barry Goldwater, I think a lot of you might remember him, he said, extremism in defense of liberty is no virtue. Or was that a vice? Is that vice? Okay, now this one I made up. And I made this really easy for you to understand. You can take this with you. Remember it. This will help you. The 3 A's. Apologize, apologize, apologize. It works. Apologize for your success. Apologize for wanting to keep your income that you've earned. Apologize for wanting to make your own healthcare decisions. Who are you? Apologize for not wanting to pay for other people's healthcare, including my birth control. So after this, you can come and practice with me. Apologize to me. Look what's, Okay, next point. Avoid at all costs being called a racist. And the best way to do this is to avoid being a Tea Partier. Or avoid being white. Always remember the big 4. Women, gay people, minorities, and children. I'm not really sure why, but remember those. I can't remember why. They're important for some reason. They keep getting brought up. And lastly, invoke parts of the Declaration of Independence as often as you can, especially this part. All men are endowed by their government with certain inalienable rights until they're not. That's such a good point, right? Obviously, this is tongue-in-cheek. I make it sound absurd, but this is actually what you are being told to do by leaders that are really far right. You're the only people who can save this country. They're only people who have the ideology to do it. The only people who really care about the Constitution, who care about liberty, who have the passion for it. And you're being told, you have to compromise to win elections. Be nice. Only the Chris Christies of the world can win elections, not the Ted Cruzes, not the Alan Wests. No, we have let the socialists set the agenda in this country for 100 years because we gave up our moral outrage. We have the right to our stuff. We have the right to make decisions about who we will help, who we won't help, or whether we'll help anybody. An inalienable right to our lives, our liberty, and the pursuit of our own happiness. So there's 2 ways I feel like Republicans, or people on the right, generally speaking, give up this moral high ground. 2 really common phrases you hear, even from people such as Rand Paul, who are, considered almost libertarian Republicans. Of course we need a safety net, right? Translation, the government has a right to come and get my stuff and give it to other people. And if so, reasonable men can disagree about how much of my stuff. So really, you've just given up the moral high ground when you say, well, okay, I concede we need a safety net. Who are you to complain if they take half for that safety net? What is a safety net? And why do we always hear people say there should be a safety net? Should is a moral statement. And they're talking about the government. And it means you are morally obligated to be my safety net. That's socialism. What happened 100 years ago when the government wasn't in the business of being the safety net? It was family, it was charity, and it was working at lower paying jobs. That was your safety net. People weren't starving in the streets. The second thing people say is, of course we need some regulation. We need to regulate the economy somewhat, right? I mean, it'd be chaos. Translation, businessmen are guilty before they do anything wrong, and they need to wear a collar and a leash. It's just a question of how long should the leash be. And that's all you have to talk about once you give up this, okay, a little bit. But really, we have plenty of laws to prevent against fraud and to prevent against theft. And these agencies are just out there strangling businessmen who are perfectly innocent. And they're just having ideas and they're just doing business. Let's wait till they commit a crime before we stop them. So, with those points, now I'm getting very serious. I'm normally a comedian. But my message to you today is, especially, is if you're waiting for someone to save this country, wait no longer. Just look at the person sitting next to you. Tea Party, you are it. You are the people who are going to save this country. It's all we've got. It's good. Who did you expect it to be? The Republicans? The Libertarians? I mean, the Tea Party is the only group, as I said earlier, with a passion for the ideals that will bring us back to freedom. Individual rights, economic freedom, the Constitution of the United States. The only group. And we have a tendency to romanticize our founders, but they were just neighbors, like the ones you have today. They were just people like you. People like Cliven Bundy. People like his neighbors who came to his defense recently. Men and women risking their lives. There's nothing different about these people and yourselves. You are all Cliven Bundy. You are all Thomas Jefferson. And I think winning this war requires the clarity that comes from moral certainty. So don't give up these words, the safety net. Well, okay, a little bit. And that's what the Republicans have been doing for a long time now, and it doesn't work. The Republican Party, the Democrats want to give $950 billion to the latest entitlement. The Republicans say, no way, $925. Did Patrick Henry say, give me liberty or give me a 2.3 tax reduction? He didn't. He didn't say that. So we have to challenge the proper function of government. We have to challenge the premise of the welfare state totally. Not just in degree. We are in a similar position to our founding fathers who did ask these moral questions, and they too found their freedom under attack as we do today. Those who value the Bill of Rights, the rule of law, and constitutional protections of individual rights understand that this battle is not only between us and the tyrants in the left wing of the Democrat Party. The battle is over how to respond to them. Do we compromise? Do we try to show we can just a slow abrogation of our rights and collapse of civilization, or do we fundamentally challenge the moral ideas behind socialism? And I've got a quote for you to leave you with. In the harsh winter of 1976, in the depths of despair after sustaining horrendous casualties in the Battle of New York, with a demoralized ragtag army of farmers and shopkeepers, with enlistment set to expire and with it the American Revolution, Washington had the words of Thomas Paine read aloud to his troops. These are the times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in this crisis, shrink from the service of their country, but he that stands it now deserves the love and thanks of men and women. Tyranny, like hell, is not easily conquered. It's going to be hard. It's going to be risky. It's risky. Someday it may be risky for you to come to a meeting like this. This might trigger an IRS audit. I mean, I have a friend who got his 15 minutes of fame on Fox News this year, and he also got audited. You know? And so it is risky. It's risky to speak out already. It's going to get worse. Tyranny is not easily conquered. And you are the only hope, and you can do it. And that's my message today. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunny. That was